4.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, I'm Les Brown, and I want to just thank you so much for joining us because we're going to do something special. What are you doing up there? All of this should have been done. Go ahead, no, go ahead, do whatever you're doing. I have no idea what you're doing. I don't want to be looking at your little finger up there. Okay. We're trying to our goal is to broadcast on several platforms, and I've got a special message for you. I have a special guest with me. Her name is Hadia. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a coach, and she's an empowerment specialist. And one of her specialties is helping women to liberate themselves, to free themselves. And she has a very fascinating story. And here's something else I want you to do. And Matthias, I want you to get in place over there because I want to get some questions from you about what does it take to live your dreams, how to get unstuck, what does it take to be a voice of influence or to develop your leadership potential. And I also want to encourage you to join me. For those of you that's in the UK, I'm going to be in London on January the 20th. Have you notified the 40,000 people we have in the UK that I'm going to be broadcasting
Yes.
shortly? Fantastic. So, what you're going to get some value today. I'm going to talk to you about a variety of things. And among the things I want to talk about is your dream. What is your dream? I tell you, I was talking to a couple the other day, and I was just couldn't help overhearing the conversation. And a guy asked the gentleman, "What do you do for a living?" And he told him the kind of work he did. And then I don't know why I did it. I just injected myself into the conversation, and I asked him a question. I asked, "You told him what it is you do for a living. My name is Les Brown. I want to ask you another question." And he said, "Oh yes, I'm familiar with you. I thought that was you." I said, "What are you living to do?" See, that's different, what you do for a living and what you are living to do. And he paused. And I said, "Now, it could be the same thing." And so he said, "No, it's not." He said, "What I'm doing now, it's stressing me out." There's an article I read years ago entitled, "Is Your Job Killing You?" And there's a study, and you can Google this, in Japan about the jobs that are killing the people that are working on those particular jobs. They're so stressful in the hours that they put in. And I believe when you spend hours on end every day doing something that's not you, that it's bad for your health and it's not fulfilling, and you feel stressed out and stretched, and when you get home you don't have the mental bandwidth to contribute to your relationship, and you don't have the mental stamina to deal with the kids and the family. And I think that's why a lot of people just come home and look at television, and the television literally is looking at them, and a lot of people don't even get home. They have to stop someplace and say, I've got to get a drink." And then they got these places now, different places, where you can stop and get a smoke or whatsoever you want. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here, up in here. And so to me, I think now more than ever, that it's about being you, living from a place of power, taking charge of your life. And I believe that many times we buy into the delusion that we can't. Les, you don't know my situation. I know that conversation because that conversation kept me on the sideline for years. See, most people are spectators. They're not players. They watch the players, but they're spectators. And I was a spectator for years. I didn't know the real me. I knew the me that others saw and how they defined me, but I really didn't take the time for deep reflection for working on myself. And that's why my favorite book says, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we hear that so much it becomes trivialized, but the truth of the matter is that most of us go through life as monkey see, monkey do. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. That people who earn $80,000 a month don't hang out with people who earn $20,000 a year. So part of what I had to do was to expand my vision of myself. In fact, after what I experienced and the achievements and the accomplishments of going from being a disc jockey to a community activist and influencing legislation and becoming an elected official and promoting elections and being very strong at that, and passing 14 bills my first term in the Ohio legislature. Then going from there to become a speaker and traveling first in the state of Ohio and then all over the United States, then around the world. I was continuing to evolve. I was continuing to expand my vision of myself, of what was possible. And as a result of that, I decided, because of my experience, I earned a great deal doing it. As a result of that, we learn, we earn, and we pass it on. And so at this stage of my life, it's about passing it on. It's about helping people to begin to realize that they have more going for them than they realize. Helping people to discover the greatness in them. Why, Les? Why are you so passionate about this? Because somebody did it for me. When my goddaughter, Anika, called me and said, my father wants you to write the foreword for his book, The Road to Your Best Stuff, and I want you to get it. And I want you to get the audio version, The Road to Your Best Stuff. And when she said that, I began to cry. She said, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, Anika, just think, I was one of your father's groupies. I'd love to hear him speak. And had I not gone to Champion Junior High School in Columbus, Ohio, to hear your father speak, and then we developed a relationship, and he became my newsman at WVKL radio station, and in between the records playing, these were records now, this is before cassettes and 8-tracks and CDs and DVDs, and he talked to me, and I went from being just a disc jockey, just entertaining people, to empowering people, to inspiring people, to educating people about the things that were affecting us. In between records, he would talk to me. And he changed how I saw myself. Write this down. Who's in my ear? One person can make all the difference in your life. Who's in my ear? And most people are not mindful of that. There are some people that are not good for you. Mike was good for me, because as a result, I did not go to my grave. Well, first of all, I'm still here, okay? However, but when I leave here, people, the majority of people don't know me as Les Brown, the disc jockey. They know me for Les Brown for changing people's lives because of him. I went from emceeing at the Jamaica Club and the Pink Pussycat Lounge. Oh, behave! What do you know? At another club called Bottoms Up. You ever look back at your life and ask the question, what state of mind was I in when I did those things? Oh my God! I remember looking at some pictures. I had on some hot pants. Woo! I'm sorry. I got issues. Okay, I promise to be good. However, as my mother would say, anywho, but that's another Les Brown. He's dead. He gone now, but he used to be alive and well, honey. Yes, he was. LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. Even when I was in elementary school, I had game. I mean, young ladies say, "Hey, what's your name?" Well, they call me Mr. Vocabulary. Well, why do they do that? Well, linguistically or racially, I'm emphatic that I possess an ad infinitum etymology which is simply inconquerable. However, I want to be like Columbus and discover you. Oh my God! Let me tell you something. I tell you, I always have these little games here. That light is not on of it, so it's okay. So here's what I want you to ask me some questions. And Hadia, I ask you. Well, first of all, the name of your book is called what?
Behind the Veil.
Behind the Veil. And how did you come up with the title?
Because I'm explaining my experience as a Muslim woman, being African American, born in the United States, had practiced Islam for years in the United States. And at one point, I wore a face veil.
That was the one where you go, all the eyes could only be seen.
Yes.
That you could like you had that on.
Yes, I had it on.
Okay, okay. I mean, when I said I'm shocked. How long did you wear that?
3 years.
3 years. First of all, I don't want to preempt the conversations we've had because it's powerful. But I tell you, you have a fascinating story, and I believe this book. You know, get tissue, please, so I can wipe. I'm perspiring. I have hot flashes from the cancer treatment that they've been giving me. Thank you so very much. And so, first of all, I got to hold my pinky up because when I go to England, you always hold your pinky up.
And have tea and crumpets.
Yes, tea and crumpets. Thank you very much. Yes. So, where was I just then? She's got a story, but what are the questions? Ask me a question. Ask me some questions. I want you to ask me some questions about your goals, your dreams, breaking out your greatness, developing your leadership, of being able to create a lifestyle where you can change people's lives and travel around the world first class and have somebody else to pay for it. Is that a good thing? Yes, indeed. Go ahead. What's the first question?
So, as far as being a speaker, how does perfecting the art of storytelling affect the impact a speaker has on their target audience?
Well, the impact of the stories is tremendous because stories have the ability to allow people to experience you in their imagination and feel you in their heart. And stories have the ability to distract people from how they live the story that they have bought into about who they are. So stories is very important, and it's one of the most important tools. In fact, I think it's at up top of the list of the top 3 things you need to be a life coach or a trainer or a manager or a leader or a policy enforcer. That the ability to tell stories, to bring the best out of people, the ability to tell a story and reach people is very important, because when you speak, what we do is an interruption. When you speak, we distract the people from the story they have believed about themselves. And as a result, you're able to get them to live out of their imagination as opposed to living out of their history. So story is very important. And getting coaching on how to do it is major. It's major. A lot of people are very talented, have great stories, and they try to do it themselves. And anybody that's great at anything of any consequence, they have a coach. They have somebody that can help them to access a part of themselves that they don't know right now. What I'm doing, and people say, you are such a natural. I feel like Maya Angelou. She said she become angry when people say she was a natural communicator. She said, show me a natural heart surgeon. She said they got some training. I was trained on how to do this. I was very fortunate. Of all the people I've met in my life, she's at the top of the list. That I spent a whole day with Maya Angelou, and I discovered a lot of things about life, about myself. It was so overwhelming. At the end of our time together, I was at her home, in the Carolinas, I really kneeled and said, "Would you pray for me?" She laid hands on me. She said, "And you really need this." I was going to suggest it. I said, "Okay." Now, Matthias, you have a question. What's your question?
I was interested in.
Come closer, please, and clear your throat before I ask you the question next time. It's amazing. By the way, if you're a speaker, don't clear your throat in the microphone. Wait before you speak. And here's, let's say this is a microphone, do like this. And then come back. Most people go up to a microphone and say, they like to hear themselves clear their throat. No, we don't want to hear that. Go ahead, please. And there was nothing in his throat. I just asked him a question, come up here, and then he said, and what happens is that the habit is, well, I'm about to say something deep, so let me clear my throat so all of it can come out. Whatever. Go ahead, Matthias. First of all, I want to this is my spiritual son. Stick your head in so they can see you, so you can see who Matthias is. What do you do, Matthias?
Author, motivational speaker.
Yes, he's an author and he's a motivational speaker. And one of my spiritual sons is my spiritual daughter, and I'm working with them and doing it up close and personal. And tell me, what has been the experience of working with me?
Otherworldly, put it that way.
Okay. So what's the question that you'd like to ask?
Considering the difficulties in doing anything that we do in life, how were you able to push through and continue to tour, to speak, to just brave all of the difficulties and challenges in life?
Thank you. That's a good question. When you get on an airplane, one of the things they will ask you to do, and that is fasten your seatbelt. T.D. Jakes has a book called Soar. It's a brand new book, good book. Encourage you to get this book. And they say fasten your seatbelt because we're going to experience some turbulence before we reach a comfortable altitude. Let me pause right here and do some coaching. He asked me a question. I used an analogy of what most people have experienced, to fasten their seatbelt. And they've heard it say, we're going to experience some turbulence before you reach a comfortable altitude. Now watch how I process it out. When you have goals and dreams, you have to fasten your mental, emotional, and spiritual seatbelt. They cannot strange that you're faced to fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. A guy named Dimples had a song called, "If it ain't one thing, it's another." When you want to change your life, when you want to begin to go to the next level, all hell will break loose. Murphy's Law is waiting on you now. What do you mean by that? Murphy's Law says, if anything can go wrong, it will, and at the worst possible moment. I was working on a dream of speaking for a major corporation. Now I was in Detroit. And I called this organization, and the lady said, "Are you Les Brown, the motivational speaker?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh my God." She said, "I started playing your cassette tapes in my car with my son that I was having problems with. He wanted to drop out of school and he was running with the wrong crowd. And as a result of him hearing your voice, and you were saying the same thing that I was saying, but he didn't know you, and there's something about how you said it and your laughter and how much fun you had. He connected with you and you changed my son's life. I never thought I would hear your voice in person. Thank you so much for what you did for my son." His father would love to talk to you and thank you as well personally. And so why did you call us? Well, I understand that you book speakers, and I'd like to speak for your organization. She said, "Oh, absolutely." She said, "Look, in fact, here's what. I want you to bring a lot of your recordings, because our people, we've had Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, a variety of people, and our people buy a lot of products. I want you to bring some products. I'm going to do a personal testimony, and I'm going to talk about how my son's life was changed by listening to you. I remember you saying, expose your materials to our children. Don't tell them to listen to it. Just start playing it while they're in the car when you're in traffic." I did that. I didn't tell him to listen. I just did it. And after a while, I started listening, and Guess what? He started listening on his own and changed his life. And I'm going to tell that. I want to promote you to all people. And I can tell you they're going to buy everything. You should at least come at least $50,000 worth of product. I said, you gotta be kidding. Now, this is the beginning of my career. I said, thank you so much. So I called the guy who duplicated my material and said I needed a large order. And he said, Les, you don't have a $50,000 line of credit. I said, hold just a minute. I got the lady on the phone. I said, oh, Catherine, this is Les Brown. I said, would you please tell my vendor what's going to happen when I come to your convention? She said, absolutely. She said, Mr. Brown's recordings changed my son's life. I went to the CEO and I told him, this is the person that we need to bring in. And I will personally, because of my personal experience of the impact and the transformation that I saw in my son, I want everybody in the audience to buy his products. And I am known by everybody. They will do what I say. Give him what he needs. I said, hello, did you hear that? He said, yes. I said, man, duplicate the tapes and get them to me right away. He said, okay, Les, seems like you got a good deal going here. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have a goal and dream, at first things they look very promising. They look great. And then that's why it's important to fasten your seatbelt, because some things happen that you don't anticipate. He duplicated all of the tapes that I needed. He transferred those to my office. They were stacked up, and I can see the guys coming in now, and they had them, bringing them in the door. And I was saying, oh, we about to clean up in here, up in here. We about to make some money up in here, up in here. And a week came by. She told me she would send me the contract out. No contract. 2 weeks came by, but I didn't want to call and act like I didn't believe her. I wanted to be professional, and I didn't want to appear to be desperate. 3 weeks came by, and I said, you know what? Maybe she got distracted. Maybe I need to call her. And I'll be very apologetic in how I speak to her, because I don't want to be a nuisance. So I called. Hi, this is Les Brown. And I hate to bother you this time, but Catherine told me that she talked to the CEO about my speaking at your upcoming convention, and she said that she wanted me to come, bring a lot of products, and she's going to send the contract out, and she was going to promote me too. She said, oh, you haven't heard? I said, no. Heard what? Catherine died. She died? Did she say anything about me? She died. She said no. I said, oh my God, I'm living in Detroit. So she said the arrangements are this Saturday. I said, oh my God. Now, mind you, this lady, she sent me an article from the company's magazine so that I could see that she was a top performer, top salesperson, and she was vice president of marketing, and that she wanted me to know that she was the go-to person. So I looked at it, and I looked at the magazine, and I started crying. I said, oh my God, maybe it's another Catherine. I didn't want to call the lady back. I was so traumatized. So I flew to Chicago for the funeral. And when I went up to the casket and saw her, I was crying so hard, they seated me with the family. They thought I was the black sheep of the family. I was crying so hard. I said, oh my God, I got $50,000 worth of tapes. No speaking engagements. And the one I had, the lady died before sending out the contract. I want to call him back and say, would y'all look in her office? I mean, I'm sure she's not going to object. Would you just check in her desk? Okay, so when I got back to the hotel, I heard this voice that say, you want to listen to some of your motivational cassette tapes? I was in the airport for months looking like a Mooney, trying to sell somebody, because don't you need some motivation or someone that you know? Let me tell you, Things are going to happen. I'm telling you, things are going to happen that you can't anticipate. And that's why the question that Matthias asked is so important. That part of becoming an entrepreneur, one of the most important things you have to do is work on your mindset. You've got to be mentally and emotionally and spiritually strong. You're going to fail your way to success. Things are going to happen that you can't anticipate. Many times when you put in the time and effort to work on your dream, and the people who can benefit most will start causing all kind of havoc and drama in your life. And you don't need that. The people who should help you, if you got a business, the people who depend upon your income, their income from the work that they do, many times won't do their part. And they can lose their job. And that's why many entrepreneurs sing that song, "You about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, you about to make me act a fool. Up in here, up in here." Now, Matthias just asked me a simple question. How did you keep going? And having the setbacks, how did you keep going? And your best friend died from waiting on a liver transplant. You were married to a very famous person and you went through a public divorce, someone you loved very much. Your mother was diagnosed with breast cancer and she died. And you were diagnosed with cancer. How did you keep going? The key, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. You have to go within. I had to get still. I had to pray. And I needed people to pray for me. Sometimes you don't have enough strength to pray for yourself. And sometimes I ask God, are you hearing me? I need to know. I'm going through some stuff now. I need to know, are you real? Are you real? Are you real? Don't take my mama. Don't take my mama. A lot of stuff happened. I took some hits, had a nationally syndicated talk show. Took some hits. And some of those hits I didn't handle well. I parked. I was embarrassed. How can I talk to people about living their dream and I couldn't make my marriage work? How can I do that? Maybe your dream is not just about achieving financial success. It's about family, about making your marriage work. It's about becoming the greatest next version of yourself. It's family first. Jacqueline Onassis was asked a question, what do you consider your major success? And she said, my children. They said, why? She said, if I earn all the money in the world and my children don't amount into anything, what have I done? So, you have to have a game plan. I'm encouraging you to read 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day for your mindset. I'm encouraging you to go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome and watch it every day. During that time when I gave that speech, I was bathing in the sink down the hall in the Penobscot building, 21st floor in Detroit, Michigan. During that time, I was going from city to city, sleeping on friends' couches. During that time, it was tough. It was tough. And I had an affirmation. I want you to write this down. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. That's what I resolved. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. And sometimes I had to say it through tears. Sometimes I didn't have any evidence, any clue as how I was going to do it, but I did have the presence of mind to call forth those things that be not as though they were. And I'm encouraging you to do that. This thing called life, It's no joke. It's no joke. And and I tell you, a friend of mine said, who works with Cicely Tyson, I call her Aunt Boo Boo, Cicely Tyson, wonderful person. She was in one of my trainings we had. And her assistant said, God loves drama. She did not lie. She said, I said, well, why would you say that? She said, every chapter in the Bible got some kind of drama. God loves drama. Okay, that's my long answer to Matthias. You have a question, please. And I want your questions. Do you have one over there?
I do.
What is it?
Sure. I have a question is...
Project a little louder, please.
Sure. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Which is, you just wrote a book and it's going to come out, and you talk about how you
Yes,
gotta be
come up
hungry.
close. Oh, this is Giorgio. Matthias and Giorgio, they are computer geniuses. Listen, it's very important you have collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, people who know things that you don't know. So these gentlemen, they helped me, plus a young lady. She's gone now, and her name is Amani. She's another genius herself, and her father, Nate Phillips. Yes, so what's the question?
Sure. You wrote a book about how to be hungry,
You got to be hungry, yes.
and I want to kind of know more about that and how it's spiritual for you. And then second would be, how do you stop saying,
Okay, yes. Well, thank you. My book, oh, by the way, my book, You Gotta Be Hungry. It's been coming and coming and coming, and finally, I've sealed it, I've closed it out, and I have no one to thank for that other than Terry Stingley and Alisa. Oh my goodness. God will put angels in your life when you're working on goals and dreams. And what I mean about hunger, people that are hungry for something, no excuse is acceptable. People that are hungry are driven by a cause bigger than themselves. People that are hungry are willing to fail again and again and again and again. People that are hungry understand what Og Mandino meant when he said, I will persist until I succeed. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry know what Willie Jolly was talking about when he said a setback is a setup for a comeback. People that are hungry know they have comeback power. People that are hungry understand what I meant when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. People that are hungry will snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. People that are hungry take no prisoners and eat the wounded. Don't you mess with someone that's hungry. You show me somebody with talent. You show me somebody that's smart. You show me somebody who's hungry, who live from their heart and not from their head. And I'll take that hungry one. You show me that hungry one. That's the one I want. Because they won't stop. They will not stop. What's your next question?
The next question was, how do you stop saying,
Question, how do you stop saying, oh? Let me share this with you, and I train speakers, and I'm glad you said that because you've seen me checking people. You know, I almost gangster slapped Matthias when he was here, but I didn't want him to throw me out the window saying all those arms. However, they did a study, and they had a group of people, and a guy came in and did some presentations. And it's one of the trainings that I was a part of. And this guy said, oh, quite a lot. Then they did an evaluation of how much did the audience retain. That audience retained around 26% of what he said. Then I worked with him. And I said, don't say, just pause. Why? Because people start paying more attention to the arms than to your content. And when he spoke to a different audience, same presentation, with the absence and being mindful of not saying the word and I said, whatever you do privately, it will show up publicly because you're not thinking now. And so you have to practice. You got to be mindful. Warren Buffett said that habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. And when he spoke to the other audience and did not say but one time, The audience, after they were quizzed, they retained 92% of the content. Whoa. Now, which one would you want? 92%. That's why that's important. Toastmasters, they teach that. But most people, they don't pay it any attention. I'm only talking to people, and you know who you are, who can hear me in their hearts. You know who you are, who want to become great voices of influence, who want to change lives, who want to change the world. Hey, London, if you can hear me, I'm sending some emails out, and I want you to read those emails with my videos and everything. I'm coming to London January the 20th, teaching you how to develop your greatness, how to live your dreams, how to use your natural abilities, talents, and your passion and turn your passion into profit. London, get your tickets now. And I want everyone to attend. And so, you know what? I talked to attorney Athea Grant, and she agreed with me. She said, well, why are you calling me? I said, I want more people to attend. So what do you suggest? I said, you know what? I said, this is probably the last international trip I'm going to take for a very long time. So I want you to lower the price. Lower the price. And then 2 weeks until 1 week before the event. Now, in fact, we got 14 days. I said, lower the price for 7 days, because 7 is my lucky number. 7 days. And so the price has been lowered dramatically. Go to lesbrowninlondon.com and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Okay, you have another question?
Yes.
Yes, I see you there yawning. Go ahead.
So,
Yes.
how does a speaker?
Give me more energy and passion. Energy is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Conviction and energy is major in communicating because people feel you. Yes, go ahead.
How does a speaker tap into their audience in order to determine and deliver what it is that they want to hear?
All right, that's a good question. How do speakers tap into their audience in order to determine the strategy that they must involve themselves in to get the audience to hear what they want them to hear? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, the key is, and you asked the question earlier, stories. The story that you use, the example that you use. The other thing is, and I want you to write this down, distract, dispute, and inspire. When you're a coach, when you're a trainer, when you're a speaker, your goal is to orchestrate and create an experience. The reason that most speakers are not able to change lives. So first of all, most speakers, and I can say this, I've been around a while. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Most speakers are not interested in changing lives. That's why they all have free books and free seminars. Why? It's called a 1-2 step. Get them in the room, offer them something free, and then upgrade them to running to the back of the room to pay for a seminar where they can run across some fire, or get them to the back of the room to buy some books or the next seminar. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, why aren't you charging? Why don't you just give the seminar away free? I don't believe in that. No. What you don't pay for has no value. You got to have some skin in the game. And I'm not going to upgrade you to anything. You want to be coached by me? Fine. If you don't, fine. I don't need your money. It's a wonderful thing to be debt-free, cancer-free, and drama-free. Let the record show. It's a wonderful thing, all right? So I believe, I don't know if I ever see you again. So my approach is different. My goal is to take you out. I'm an assassin. Did you hear me? I'm an assassin. You come in a room with me, I'll kill every negative demon that's in you, every negative thought, all the doubts. My goal is to give birth to that part of yourself that you haven't seen yet. That's what I do. That's what I do. So I don't want to see you a second time. I want to get the job done right. Do it well the first time. If I take you out, if I change your life, you're going to come see me again. So I'm not into the hype. And those who do it, fine. They got great programs. I love it. I think Tony, I would consider Tony the #1 speaker on the planet and training experience. And I love that piece that he does with hot burning coals and people run across that. I love that. And that has worked for a lot of people. And if that's what you want and that's what you need, go do that. Here's what I do. My training involves people interacting. Here's what I do. My training is based upon an experience, not hype, not information. If information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. If you haven't been in a room with me, you haven't had anything yet. Hello? Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. That's why my goal is to train 77 of the best global speakers on the planet. Nobody in the training industry, and I just want to share this with you, has come from where I've come from. I don't have the complexion of acceptance. I have the complexion of rejection. I remember the first speaking engagement I had, and somebody gifted me with the audio. This is during cassette tapes, and the millenniums didn't even know about that. And I had the presence of mind. I had a cassette tape player from Radio Shack, and I put it on the podium. I was in Wildwood, Florida. I knocked on the back door of the theater. Guy opened the door. I said, "Hi, my name is Les Brown." He said, "You're not Les Brown, the band of renown?" I said, "No, I'm a speaker." And he looked at me with contempt and disdain and spit on the floor. He was trying to spit on my shoe. Well, first of all, I thank Jesus. One, that he didn't spit in my face. I have on my right arm a keloid here. I remember they trained us at the NAACP to be nonviolent. You see that? You see that's.
Little higher.
I was in. Yeah, it's okay. I have a keloid. Well, y'all can't see because of the redness. That's okay. But anyhow, can you see the keloid here?
Yeah, I can see it.
We were demonstrating at Walgreens in Miami. Remember, I'm 73. So I came up, you had to go to the back of the bus. When I came up, they had white water fountains and black water fountains. When I came up, we were trying to integrate Walgreens, a drugstore. Mm-hmm. So when you joined the NAACP, I was young at the time. I didn't tell my mother because she didn't want me to get in trouble. And they would train you how to be nonviolent. And they would get in your face, and they had white people who volunteered to help out. And they would stand in your face and call you nigger and just get all up in your face and say all kind of embarrassing, insulting things. And they're testing your mental resiliency not to respond. So here I was, and we were going into Walgreens to integrate it. And there were 3 white guys who were standing at the door. And even though they called us the N-word, I could handle that. Even though they said, "Go back to Africa, you monkeys," I can handle that. But they did something that they didn't prepare me for. They were spitting in people's face. So I got to the back of the line hoping that their mouth would be dry. I said, "Lord, help me, Jesus. I hope I don't want to embarrass Father Theodore Gibson, who was the president of the NAACP at that time." went to school with his son. I hope they don't spit in my face, because if they do, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle this. And so they didn't spit for a while. And the main one, who would gag and spit in people's face, so I passed the first one, he didn't spit. Then I passed the second one, he didn't spit, their mouth was dry. But that third one seemed like, I'm going to save this one for this one here coming. I'm going to save this one here. And he got like he had a cold sore. And he spit in my face, and I tried to tear his face off. We went through the Walgreens window. We broke the window, the gash in my arm from the glass. And not only did I beat the hell out of him, I was trying to bite his face. Let me tell you something. I say, you ain't gonna spit in nobody's face no more who look like me. Let me tell you, you could hear him scream, oh Jesus, have something. Let me tell you something. I beat the hell out until they pulled me off him. I bit him. I think I did like Mike Tyson. I bit his ear first. I think I bit the ear first. So they put me out. They put me, you can't do this. You can't do this. I said, that's okay. I ain't mad. I'm not going to reapply. No, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. No. I want us to be free, but you ain't going to spit in my face up in here. No, I'm not the one. And I don't think he showed up no more either. I'm so sorry. What was I? How did I get there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did y'all know how I got there? I don't know. But I'm saying you got to be strong. There are things that will happen to you. You know, I hear all the stuff that the Trump people are talking about. You know, like, what's that lady's name from the governor from Alaska? Take our country back. You know, get back to what? You think that we're not going to fight? This is a different group up in here. Oh, no. You have no idea who you fooling with. They have no idea. Not only the young people who won't go for that craziness, but people like me. And all the people that have gone to Vietnam, like my brother in the Sahasian desert. I mean, they're people who, it's a different mindset. We're going to take our country back. Yeah, I got something where you want to take it back to. It is not going to go back the way you want it to go. So there's a time that you got to draw the line in your life, in all kinds of situations, in circumstances that you got to fight. My daughter, she was teaching at this school, and they had a lot of Mexican kids, and these white teachers calling them stupid and dumb. And my daughter, Samaya, she's a substitute teacher. She said, they're not stupid and they're not dumb. And she said, Daddy, I knew they might fire me. I said, I don't care, let them fire you. She called me during the lunch break. I said, speak your mind. Let them fire you. I got your back. And so she said, just give these kids to me. They're not stupid or dumb. They just haven't learned the language yet. Give them to me. She's probably about 4 or 5. Always wearing those high heels like Prince, trying to be tall. Daddy, pray tall prayers for me. Maybe this is it. This is it. But big things come in small packages. And
Yes, indeed.
yes, as a result, those kids, they got on the honor roll. As a result, because of our high expectations, as a result, because she didn't label them, she didn't judge them, label jars, not people. As a result, they were all shocked. Whoa, look at him now. Look at him now. She was determined. That's my daughter. Samaya, she's a powerful teacher, powerful. That's big, graduated from Spelman College. She's a bad girl. My other daughter, Samaya and Serena, she's bad. She's tough too. She went to Hampton. And my daughter, Ona, she went to University of Hard Knocks. I got some tough daughters up in here. What's the next question you have? Yes, you have another question? No, she doesn't. Okay, kind of slow. You missed a
I
beat.
do have another question.
Okay, good. Scared, good. Come on,
What are
bring
the
it.
3 main things that a speaker must do, must know, must be aware of in order to captivate their audience?
One is you have to have a good coach. because you don't know what you don't know and you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. But a coach, and let me identify a coach who's accomplished and a coach who has achieved what it is you want to achieve. I selected Mike Williams because I saw him speak so many times and I said, I want to speak like that. He spoke to me. Other ones, they had just be positive and enthusiastic and everything's going to work out all right. But Mike Williams, oh, he was real. I admired him. And so I wanted to be trained by him. If you want to be the best, find the best speaker in that area where you are or online. And if they resonate with you, and not because you read some marketing letter that's very compelling, but because of how they handle themselves with the audience. If they resonate with you, then that's the one you want to go with. Next one is this. Study full. That's a term that T.D. Jakes will say. I spoke for his Manpower Conference. You put T.D. Jakes Manpower Conference, Les Brown. I probably used over 60 to 75 quotes in that presentation, and I never repeated myself. You got to study. Most speakers, what gave me an advantage in the speaking industry when I started out in 1980, Hadia, was I noticed that Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Tony, all of them had one message that they gave. And so Mike taught me, he said, Brownie, never let what you want to say get in the way of what the audience needs to hear. You want to study so you're well read. You want to study so you have the versatility and flexibility to speak to any type of audience. So I've spoken to AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM, Xerox. Why? Because I studied. I have content that I can deliver with a story, which is important, that could transform their lives individually and collectively. And the third thing that's important, not only must you study, not only do you need a coach, but you have to speak. You have to speak. And the more you do it, record yourself and have somebody look at it and give you some caring feedback. People practice in the mirror. So I practice all the time. I'm good. I say, is that right? Good, then hire yourself. You can't read the label when you're locked in the box. If you're talking about, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said they want to speak, and I said, wait a minute. Well, what have you done? Okay, and what coaching have you had? Oh, people tell me I'm good all the time. They were looking at you with untrained eyes. Don't leave it to chance. Yes.
So what can a speaker do in order to establish himself different from other speakers in the field?
One, get a coach that's accomplished and that's experienced. Two, I encourage all speakers to join Toastmasters. I think it's a great organization. I've received the Golden Gavel Award from Toastmasters. It's the highest award that they've ever given out. I was selected among the top 5 speakers in the world: General Norman Schwarzkopf, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and Lee Iacocca, and then myself, and they're all gone. I'm the last man standing. But I think they have a great program that everybody, no matter where they are in the world today, can sign up and become a part of their system. Toastmasters is good. And the National Speakers Association. I received the CPAE Award and inducted into the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame. And there's some great coaches. Andy Enriquez, Kevin Bracey. These are some great coaches. One of the coaches that I also admire is Johnny Wimbrey. He's going to be with us in London. He's a powerful coach. And Athea Grant, she's a powerful coach. And I can think of so many more, including Stacy N.C. Grant. There are some powerful speakers that I've worked with personally. And if you have not found a coach and want a great mentor, I have some speakers that I've trained personally and seen their growth and development and who can walk with me toe to toe, and many that have surpassed me. And I will recommend them to you. Just email me, lesbrown77@gmail.com. That's lesbrown77@gmail.com, and say, I need a coach. Who would you recommend? And I've trained some people that have taken this thing to another level. Ed Blunt, he's a bad boy out of New York. I've known him since he was 5 years old. And between Ed and Johnny Wimbury and Stacy NC Grant, whew, there's some tough people that I've had the honor of working with and who've gone beyond me. Any coach that's good, decent, all of his students will surpass him. You've got something for me, Giorgio?
Yes, I do.
Are we over time?
We're just about time to wrap it up, but I just
Did you
wanted,
just say
I apologize for that.
Please, no, don't apologize. Just
But
give me
what
$10.
I wanted to say is
Yes.
that I wanted you to share about.
Did you say again? Yes, you did. You weren't even aware of it. $20. Go ahead. That'll make you mindful. Go ahead. That's how I got from Monica. Remember Monica
Yes.
Green here in
Yes.
Cleveland?
Yes.
I got that $100 from her. Thus $100 represent all the alms that she said. Even though I prayed for her and cast the demons out of her, they came back again. Go ahead. What's your question, please?
Can you share about the Les Brown Institute?
The Les Brown Institute, I want you to go online. The Les Brown Institute. If you want to become a certified speaker, Les Brown speaker, if you want to become a certified life coach, if you want to become a certified trainer for corporations, I want you to go to the Les Brown Institute, and I'm doing something different this year. Not only will we train you, and my daughter Ona, who is an incredible coach. If you need a life coach, my daughter Ona, she's powerful. Call her, write this number down, 305-495-5555. Now, she's my personal coach along with Mike Williams, my strategist, 305-495-5555. And I want you to sign up because this year, not only will you be a certified speaker and trainer and life coach, but this year, what I'm going to do, because my goal is to pull back 90% of speaking engagements. Last year, I got over 3,000 requests. The average speaker would get around 25 to 30 requests a year. I got over 3,000. So I have 3 great-grandsons and a 4th grandson on the way. And so I thought about it. I don't want to do this anymore like I was doing it. I want to spend time with my grandsons and my great-grandchildren. I see them in passing. I have not spent the quality time that I want to spend with them. And I asked myself the question, if I died today and I had time to think about it, what would be my greatest regret? And my greatest regret would be, I really don't know my 15 grandchildren. My greatest regret, I've never got them all together. My greatest regret, that my 3 great-grandsons that are here don't know me now. And I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna do something about that this year. And I would regret that my 6-pack is still covered up. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here, up in here. Trust me, I got a 6-pack here. It's just covered up, okay? Thank you. Don't make me go there. That's my regret. You have another question? We can all right, listen, we have reduced the price. I want London, spread the word. I want, when I come, I want it standing room only. You know, I tell you a place I would like to go back to, South Africa, Nigeria. I saw so many men look like me in Nigeria. I wanted to go up to him and say, are you my daddy? Don't run from me. I know you behind on child support, but you look like me. I never saw so many men that looked like me when I was in Abuja, Benin, Lagos. Oh my God, I love Nigeria. I don't care what no one says. I love Nigeria and South Africa. I love that. And I also love Dubai, and I love London, and I love Hong Kong. I love people. I had a wonderful time all this travel. Yes. But you know, when I don't like doing those 5-hour flights or 12-hour flights because I want them to land after around 2 or 3 hours. I get claustrophobic and say, just let me walk around for a minute or so. I'll be back. Just everybody can stay on the plane. I just need to walk out here and get some fresh air, and then I'll come back on. I don't like being closed in a plane for 12 hours or so. When I flew to Alaska, oh my goodness gracious, I kept waking up saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" I just don't like that. Okay, well, do we have any questions here? Let's take two off the computer. You have a question, please? Yes, I hope that what I've shared has had some value for you and some of the techniques and strategies that I shared about how to become more influential and impactful with your speaking. I said I think you should join Toastmasters or the National Speakers Association. I think that you need to get a coach that can see what you can't see, somebody with a trained eye, somebody, not with some 4 or 5 page marketing letter. See, when I came along, our philosophy was, and it was dominant in the culture, if you build the best mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. If you build the best mousetrap, that means if you have the best product, the world will beat a path to your door. That's no longer true. Today, if you know how to market, you don't have to have a mousetrap. If you know how to market, the world will beat a path to your door and set up tent and sleep outside in the cold or in the winter or in the summer to buy a phone they've never seen. Marketing is king. I can't tell you, people who say, "Oh, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million speaking." I say, "Have you made your first million yet?" "Oh, no, but they don't know that. But I'm going to make it off them. There are enough of them out there that want to learn. I get enough of them in, I'll teach them." You know, what's that, Bonham? What's his name? The people who have the circus. J.T.
Barnum Bailey.
Yeah.
Barnum Brothers. Is it Barnum Bailey?
Bonham. He said the suckers born every second. And so there are people being sucked in. And you know what else is really disruptive in your life, program you? It's that phone. That phone is very disruptive. Where's that telephone? Yeah. That phone, let me tell you something. They have figured out, no, give me your cell phone. They have figured out strategies with this, that X number of rings and alerts that's designed, has been computerized to disrupt your thinking, to create an addiction. An addiction. I love your answering service. I love the message that you read. I want you to give them a synopsis of if someone calls your phone right now, what is it that you say? Speak up with energy. Go ahead.
I basically state that if you want to book an appointment at the salon for a service, to call the salon. And if it's an emergency, you can send me a text message. I don't check the voicemail.
No, say about what this space where you are, this state of mind where you are, this time that you've carved out for yourself. Say what you said.
And I was on retreat, soul searching, trying to find myself the way the Buddha found himself.
And you said, don't call me, don't text me, I don't want any interruptions. I'm working.
About mundane conversations.
About mundane conversations, and what else you said? I don't want any mundane conversations. I'm working on myself, and I'm going to do that. That's a good thing. I'm going to call back and write this down. I'm going to put that on my phone. That's one of the, because I'm going back to Dr. Ronnie's out there in Martha's Vineyard. I'm going there so I can finish uncovering my six-pack. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And her book, I'm going to do an in-depth interview with you, and it's called Lifting the Veil.
Behind the Veil.
Behind the Veil. And she used to be a Muslim, and what that experience was like, oh my God, it's something else. Yeah, that's how you, that's how she was, yes. What is this for?
I owed you $20.
You owe me $20 for the arms. I love that. Thank you so much. What a man of integrity. Thank you. I won't say that Giorgio gave this to me. Thank you so much. And Matthias, he's waiting on the sideline. I know he's waiting to pay me as well. Thank you so very much. I hope that we've said, would you read one more question? It's got to be one more
Sure.
question.
Someone spoke about attributes and what you need.
Oh, you thought I didn't hear that on?
I caught myself that time.
Come on. A young broom sweep clean, but old broom know where to go. All to the corners. I heard that. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Go ahead. What's the question?
Attributes.
Yes.
What attributes do you need?
To become a great speaker?
Yes.
The number one attribute I feel that's important of becoming a great speaker is something that you believe in, something that you feel strongly about, that's in your heart. That when you speak on it, that people will feel you. When you speak on it, when I train you as a speaker, I teach who you are behind the words, more important than the words themselves. And it's easier to become successful as a speaker today. Why? If you do what I did, my focus was to change lives. Today, the majority of speakers are training what I call a 1-2 process. 1-2 process, 1-step, 2-step process. They have a presentation not to change lives. They have a presentation to drive you to run to the back of the room. I'm going to be doing a tour with my speakers. It will not be a sales fest. There will only one thing that will be sold on my platform. I'm talking about my platform. I did a tour with Brian Forte, Get Motivated. It was a sales fest. They cut my time. I said, wait a minute, hold a minute. Why are you giving me such limited time? Well, we got to let these other guys sell their products so we can make some money. I don't have any problems with people making money. But don't cut my time off when you're using me to draw people in the room. Don't limit the time that I have. No. So guess what? I don't complain about that anymore. Guess what? I will produce myself. And my tour will be called, You Gotta Be Hungry. That's what it's going to be called. And when you come, it will not be a sales fest. It will be to help you to access your greatness so you can live your dream. It's designed to create a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, accountability partners. That's what it's designed to do. To orchestrate an experience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied. To going back to where it was. I don't want to do these sales fests. No. And I can tell you, you come see me in London, I'm not going to sell you nothing. If you want me to train you to speak, my staff will screen you and see if it's a good fit. But I don't want to work with everybody. I do not want to work with everybody. I know what the scripture means. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. Why? Because few there be that will discipline themselves. Few there be that will hold themselves to a higher standard. Few there be that are willing to make the commitment to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Hadia, the reason that you're in my space. Giorgio, the reason that you're in my space. Matthias, the reason you're in my space is that we're cut from the same cloth. You have a heart for people. And it would be a sin for me to die and not do for you what Mr. Washington and what Mike Williams did for me. We had breakfast at Dave's Deli on 7th Avenue in Miami. Mr. Washington had lost his sight from glaucoma. And I took him to Dave's Deli. And as I let him in and we sat at the table, pulled his chair out for him, and people come by, "Hi, Wash," and he would raise his hand and acknowledge their presence and where the sound was coming from. After we had breakfast, I took him home and I pulled up front in his house, in front of his house on 56th Street. I said, "Mr. Washington?" He said, "Yes, Mr. Brown." I said, "I want to talk to you about something." He said, "I know you've been very quiet." I told this story before, but he's been on my heart, and his daughter has been on my heart. Got to reach out to his daughters. I said, "They have some new technology that perhaps can restore your sight. Before you go, I want you to see me speak again, not just hear me." He said, Mr. Brown, you've done enough for me. You always talk about me. I always get calls from former teachers that I've worked with. They call and say, "Wash, I heard that guy Les Brown on YouTube, and he was talking about you when he said, 'I'm the one. I'm the one.'" I saw that young man. Who would have thought, Washington, that somebody at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida, in Overtown, would be able to elevate themselves to the point that he spoke before 80,000 people and he talked about you. Weren't you proud? Do you remember when he saw you coming down the steps, when he talked to you in back of the cafeteria, and he said he was the one? How did that make you feel? He said, "Whenever I hear it, I can't see him now." He said, "It gives me goosepimples." So I said, "Well, if there's anything, Mr. Washington, I can do for you, please let me know. Money will not be an issue." He said, "I'm fine. I've become comfortable with the darkness." So I got out, I opened the car door for him. He held my arm, opened the gate, we went in. I said, "Step up now." And as he stepped up the steps, I opened the door. I said, "Don't forget, if you ever need anything, you let me know here." As I was walking into the car, I thought about he was my spiritual father. I've never known my father. He taught me, Mr. Washington, how to tie a tie. I remember wearing his suit coats, and they were too big. People laugh at me. But I just wanted to have his coat on my shoulder. And as I was about to get in my car, he said, "Mr. Brown." I said, "Yes, sir." "Mr. Brown, there is something I could do." I said, "What is it, sir? Anything, tell me, what is it?" He said, "Come closer to me." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I don't know what I did that caused you to become the young man that you are. I don't know. I don't know what I said. But whatever I did for you," and I've never seen him cry, but I remember the tears coming in his eyes. He said, "Whatever I did," he said, "pass it on, young man. Pass it on." 2017, it kicked my natural behind. I mean, through sciatica pain, through the cancer, through my son having a stroke, and one being bipolar. Not being able to sleep because of the pain. 2017 is a tough year. But even though I had some challenges. Part of 2017, I was in a wheelchair because of sciatica pain. If you've never had sciatica pain, you don't know pain. And all of that. I was reminded by Ed Blunt, "Mr. Brown, can you still speak?" "Yes, Ed." "Mr. Brown." "Yes, Ed. Can you still change lives? Yes, Ed. Mr. Brown. Get up off the floor. You're trying to do push-ups. Nobody wants you to do push-ups. Nobody's calling you to help them learn how you can increase your push-up rate. They call you because they want to learn how to change their lives. They call you because they have a voice like I do, and they want you to teach them how to tell their story. Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown. Mr. Washington told you to pass it on. You can't pass it on, being on the floor, being depressed, because you can't do 142 consecutive push-ups anymore. You're on an ego trip. That's an ego trip. Ego. You taught me ego is edging God out. Boy, if he'd have been near me, I'd have knocked the hell out of you. That's it. Bam! Look at ego that. So, every day, I'm going to talk to you. And they're teaching me how to handle this equipment. I'm not going to wait till I decide when a speaking request come in, do I want to go there? Because I don't have to speak unless I want to. But every day, I'm going to come here, and I'm going to pass it on. I'm going to share with you what's in my heart. I'm going to share with you what's on my mind. I'm going to do that which I am called to do to change lives. London, if you can hear me. I didn't say Russia. London, can you behave? Whatever. London, if you can hear me. Get the tickets now. They've been lowered because I want the place standing room only, and bring some young people too. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Thank you, Hadia. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Giorgio. Thank you, Nate Phillips and Amani. And thank you for being you. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. God bless you. God bless your dream. God bless your story. And God bless the day you were born. You have something special. You got greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Turn this stuff off. Last night, don't y'all leave me. I had the stuff on. I thought I had turned it off. And people say, we can hear your phone conversations. I said, what?